Alright, welcome to the tutorial for murder portals. The first thing we need to do is to instance the portal controller to our scene. So if I enter portal controller here, you can see it pops right up. Yours will be in a different directory because I obviously have multiple versions, being the person who developed it, but there will be a version in the repo. Now we need to make this local. It needs to be made local in order to work. Now briefly, the way the portal controller works is it assigns the portal camera to one of the portals that it handles, the nearest one that you're facing to be precise, and it uses the simulation and the simulation buffer in order to do the ripple shader. Viewports are very expensive, so the portal controller can actually handle an arbitrary number of portals, and all of these now will teleport to different places. So I'm just going to create 2 of them for now and delete the other 2 extras I made. So, murder portals are also auto-warping, so if I take this murder portal and I rotate it, now it will automatically rotate to its end portal, and I'm going to assign these to each other. So what this means is when I go through this guy in this direction, when I exit it, I'll be leaving out this direction through this guy. And likewise, when I go through this direction with this guy, I'll be leaving out this direction in this portal. You could always invert portals or have a different node 3D at the same spot if you want to change the rotation relative to the thing that you're rotating to. These don't only have to go to other murder portals, they can go to any node, anywhere in the scene, in fact. So I could send it even to, I can be called whatever is this doorway over here, this warp over here. So they can go to anywhere. And that is what this warp to selector is for. The other selectors here are hide me, which means that the active portal will be made invisible. If hide me is active, then when the portal is not the active portal, it will be made invisible. I'll explain what active portal means in a second. Ripple shader, of course, is the ripple shader versus the seamless shader. And just a window means that it won't teleport. That's pretty self-explanatory. Near clip offset has to do with the camera position. So I'm just going to switch to the Y view here. So, because it just makes it easier to demonstrate. Also, this is why I have the arrows from up top too, because it's easier for demonstration purposes. So when I'm going through this portal, when this portal is the active portal, and this portal's exit is currently this portal, if I'm standing, right here relative to this portal, then the camera, it will be relative to this portal at the same position, so about back here. Now that's not going to cause many troubles. But what if this portal, Murder Portal 4, was a little more, I'm going to turn off this, a little more here-ish. Because now we have a bit of a problem where it's going through a wall, which is obviously not something you really want a portal to do, but it also has a pillar in back of it. So by the way, what I had turned on there was local versus global coordinates, and so when you're trying to do the rotation, I've included the arrow, so you don't really need that, but as you can see, the arrow is right in line with the Z rotation. So if I go to something else that has coordinates, like this, you can see its rotation by clicking on and off this. And in this case, this is not rotated at all. So this would be the rotation that is cared about for warping. This is just the global rotation, which is always going to be the same. Okay. So when the camera backs up relative to the player, it's going to see this pillar. I do have a solution for that, and that is setting the near clipping of the camera. And if I set that high enough or low enough, then you won't see this pillar, but you will see everything through the portal. That sounds great, but it's not the whole story, because this near clip offset and the clipping that I'm doing, they depend on the near clipping plane, which is not oblique. So the near clipping plane for this portal, not for this portal, for the player, is always horizontal to the player. So if I'm facing straight onto this, then the near clipping plane will always clip out something in a straight line. If I'm facing here towards the portal, then it's always clipping out something like this towards the player on diagonal lines. So if I'm facing here, and therefore the camera is facing here, so yeah, I'm facing here, then it's clipping everything out from here. So if I set it too low, it's going to be clipping out, well, actually that angle won't be a problem. But if I had a different angle, it would be clipping out part of what should lie beyond the portal. but if I set it too high, then it will include stuff that's in front of the portal. So I'm going to put this to, oh, actually the entrance is the one that needs to change this. I'm going to put this to something you should never put it, which is negative, to demonstrate what that does. All right, now let's finally see what these portals look like in game. Okay, so we have the first one where I can just see the portal that I'm walking to. But because I have the negative set so high, I'm actually seeing in front of where that portal is leading me, so it's not a terribly useful portal. In fact, if you're looking at this yellow text block on the other side, I'm even clipping into that, because I've set, the view offset to negative 4.5. It would ideally be never more than 0, and in fact, it should be about 1.5-ish to avoid any obvious clipping artifacts. But let's not get into that for now. So this is not a very terrible, useful way to use the clipping offset. What about this? Well, half the portal is in the wall, and as you can see, I have the ripple shader here. So instead of being a nice smooth teleport, it's, oh hey, you're walking into a portal. But if I do so, it's perfect, well, except when I go backwards into it. So it's perfectly seamless. And you can also see another aspect here, which is when these are warping to each other, when a murder portal is warping to another murder portal, under the same portal controller or not, it also deactivates it for a second so that it doesn't immediately just warp you back. Take a note, because this does mean you can back up to places you're not supposed to go. This can also play havoc with visibility notifiers, which is what's happening to this sign here. So you might need to turn around a couple of times before that gets back to its proper, before it realizes that it should be visible. So the Dave panels are somewhat more resistant to that than my default panels. So let's make this to something much more sane. Oh, geez, my transformation really off, but yeah, apparently I just freehanded that. And I never actually got to show you what hide me did, so now let's make sure that I can see these in each other and show you what hide me does, or in this case, what it doesn't do. Okay, well, first of all, you can see that both portals are active on screen now, and in fact, both of them are using the camera from this portal. So this guy is not showing what he should be, and if you were to connect these two parts of the portal, you would see that they're actually showing the same texture, just in different parts of the screen. But when I'm closer to this guy, this portal disappears. I can actually show you that if this guy gets off my field of view. And that, that's kind of on, that's what the hide me does. But there is another aspect to the hide me that I thought I would get with this rotation, and I'm not. So let's just do, I freehanded that again, whatever. So I instantly teleported because I spawned in the middle of it. And now can I get this to, oh, I should be able to get this to show itself if I don't have the near clipping offset set to 0. There we go. So now you see this black rectangle here? What's happening is that the camera is trying to display from this portal here behind me, and it's looking through. So it's seeing this portal right in front of me, but I don't have the portals recursively render. That would take a lot of extra CPU time for almost no benefit because I'm only rendering one at a time anyways. So when I walk through, it's difficult because the timer disables it. But that black square is what happens when you don't hide a portal and it's visible through another portal. So that is another reason to select the hide me option. Now, what if you want multiple portals to be visible on screen at once? So, multiple types of portals, rather. No, multiple portals to be visible on the screen at once. I'm not fully here today, apparently. Well, you can actually have more than one portal controller. It's just expensive, so I don't terribly recommend it. So now let's deal with this duplicate murder portal, and I'm going to show you that both of these can be visible on screen at once. And this is going to also go to murder portal. This is going to go to murder portal 4, and now that I think about it, I don't want murder portal 4 to be somewhere against the wall. I want it to be somewhere where it would see both of these two other portals. So I guess it's going to go right here, so it can see the two other of those. And also, I want to show you the near clipping offset here, so I'm also going to set this one to have a near clip. Okay, that has a near clip of 0, because I set that a near clip of 0 instead of 1.5. So I'm going to show you how you should be setting the near clipping offset as well while I'm doing this. So now, I have two portals that are visible at the same time, and Not sure why that guy was actually black. And as you can see, they're showing the same scene, the same part of the same scene. Because the camera is the same place relative to both of them. You know, they have two different cameras, which are both moving to the same relative position. So they're showing the same part of the scene. And this is what I'm talking about with how you should set your clipping offset. As you can see, I'm not just clipping through the floor and right in front of the portal. I'm even clipping through the pillars in front of the portal. If I walk towards that, that's just this pillar that the camera view is now clipping into. And here, I have it set so low that it's even clipping into the wall behind the portal. And if I walk close enough to it, that entirely disappears. And as you can see, that portal is still visible right now when nothing's looking through it. So I'm even seeing the other portal through it. Because I don't think hide me's not active, is it? I guess I must not have turned on hide me yet. Okay, so this is how you have multiple portals that are visible at one time on screen. That's what the near clip offsets it looks like, and this is the kind of thing you have to worry about with setting. Yeah, hide me was not set on this. With setting hide me and the near clip offset. And that is your basic introduction to murder portals. There is in fact a lot more to tell you, but in general, stick with one portal visible at a time, because they are expensive, and already 2 portals are going to slightly lag some people's computers when they're all on screen. Cheers.